All right, good morning everyone. Today we are going to learn Canva level 1. I'm happy you're here. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I know this is a pre-recorded copy, just so you are aware. So again, reach out, email me, text me, DM me, whatever you need, and I will be happy to help walk you through something that you might need a little bit of extra help on. So today what we're going to do is we are going to learn how to use Canva on the very basic level. What you see right here is going to be your Canva home screen. So whenever you're on that home screen, actually, let's get to it. When you're on your home screen, it's going to show you the kind of newer or more trendier templates and graphic sizes. That's what you're going to see up top. Down here, it's going to show you all of your recent designs. Okay, so for you guys just starting out, we're not really going to worry about the recent designs down here, but if you have been using Canva, you do know that you can find the designs that you have been working on down here when you're on this homepage. Now, there's two versions of Canva. There's a pro version and there's a free version. Right now, I'm on the pro version. I love it. I swear by it. If you do want a free trial to the pro version, just send me a message and I can send you a link to get you a free trial. But I recommend Canva Pro to anyone. It is the best money ever spent for my business. And if you're a small business owner or someone that wants to create graphics, or you have clients that you have to create graphics for, this is going to be the software you should be using. So what Canva is a graphic design software that allows you to create anything under the sun, starting with Instagram posts all the way over to business cards, flyers, posters, invitations. You can even do like print products. You can make websites. You can do anything under the sun on Canva. I am a huge advocate for Canva. I can talk about it all day. So as I'm going through this, I will talk about the differences of the pro version versus the free when I am showing you different little tricks that you can use. So whenever we are going through this, when I say pro, that's the paid, and obviously the free is the free version. So getting started, up in the top right corner, we have create a design in purple. That's where I'm going to go to always get started on my graphic. Over here, what you're seeing is different options to click if you want to see different templates. You can see all those same templates when you're in here, but these are going to show you the different sizing options along with the templates. So you can kind of scroll through here if you want, get some design inspiration, or you can even use anything you see here and just kind of move forward with it. So up top, I'm going to start with create a design. And just because we are doing the basic class today, I'm just going to go ahead and go with a regular square. You can't go wrong with using a square. It goes on every single social media site. The square is normally just my go-to post size. So once you open up your square or whatever size you chose, you're going to see on the left-hand side everything that you're going to need to bring over to put onto your blank canvas. So it starts over here with templates. What you're going to see on the templates is a bunch of different template options. You can even search for different ones, whether that's a real estate template and you want a just listed photo, or an e-commerce style template and you want like a mock-up for putting in some of your cards that you sell, or t-shirts, or whatever that may be. You can search all of your templates over here. So whenever you click on a template, what that means is everything that you see on the screen when you click it to bring it over, everything is going to be, and I made up this word, editable. You can edit everything that you see on this screen, which is just great. So whether it's the font or what the words say or the colors or the sizing, or you want to delete something, whatever it is that you're seeing, you can change it. So this is how we're going to start. Well, actually, I'm going to delete this because I want to go through other things and then we'll come back to that. So that's not how we're going to start. But anyways, so take some time, kind of scroll through here, see what you can find, play with different templates. I can show you here, like a real estate one. If you were to click on it, you can edit anything that you see. You can edit, you can delete, you can switch out, you can change and manipulate everything you see. You can edit. So let's go ahead and move forward. The next thing down is going to be elements. So everything that you saw on those templates that I showed you, or anything you ever see on a graphic period, is created by a bunch of different little elements. So whether it's a line, a square, a flower, a heart, a balloon, a shoe, whatever it may be, you're gonna find it over here. So when we're going down, I'm gonna start in the lines and the shapes. In the shapes and the lines section, you can come in here and you can edit whatever you want from the square or from the line. So when I tell people to go through the lines and the shapes and they don't need anything other than the square and the line, this is what I mean. So starting with the line, when you come up here to the top and when you're on any element or any font or whatever you're on, you come up to this right here, and I call this my Microsoft Word toolbar because everyone in the world has used Microsoft Word at some point in their life, and I like how they lay it out up here, so it's very similar. I'm just going to show you. So it's just like you were using a Microsoft toolbar. So when I'm saying that, that is what I'm referring to. So going back over to elements, going on to my line. Up top, we're going to start with the color. So you can change the color to whatever you want. And as you see, when I click the color change, you can see the line change over here. The next thing over is going to be what I was talking about before. So see all of these different styles of the line, and we just chose this one. If you come here, you can make all of these styles on here. So watch my line change as I'm clicking these. So I can add dots or dashes, bigger dashes. You can round the ends. Let's see if I can tell. So you could see how that got rounded versus before it had that sharp edge on the end. So that is where you're going to do anything like that. Then you can change the line weight, and what that means is it's going to give you a thicker line or a way skinnier line. Normally when I'm doing this to add in like a line of some sort, I'm normally always using level 1 or 2. I just like really skinny lines, but you could do whatever you want with the line weight. The next thing over is just like we're showing over here. You can add arrows. So you can add an arrow to the end, a circle, this little like diamond shape, and whichever one you're choosing, this is going to be your left one, this is going to be your right one. And you can see that when I click off of it. So this one is a circle, this one is a little arrow. When I click it, you'll see the circle and the arrow. So on the left side is the left side, on the right is the right. And that is that for the line. Now, for the square, just like I said before, you only need a square to start. And you're probably thinking, well, what if I want the heart? Well, I'll show you how to get to that. So you have your square on your screen. Square on your screen. It's a tongue twister. You go over to shape, and when you scroll down, you can see all of the shape size like what I just showed you before, except you're not having to go in, click it, bring it over, and mess around with it. When you're here, you're already just like messing around and you can go quickly. See how I'm changing it quickly? Versus if I were to try it to change them like this, it just brings a bunch of shapes over, and now I'm stuck with a bunch of shapes that I have to delete until I find what I want. So we don't like that. We like to keep things nice and clean. So we're going to do it from being clicked on that square shape and then hitting shape up top. And that's how you're going to go back and forth between changing through the shapes. The next thing over is color. And just like before, you could change it to whatever you want. And we will go over changing the colors up here in just a minute. The next one over is going to be your border weight. Now, just like before, with that line, we can change the border to the dots, the dash, or the solid line. Now, in order to bring that border weight so you see it, you're going to have to drag where it says border weight up as far as you can so you can get that border to be seen. So I do level 1, just like I talked about before. I kind of stay in like that 1-2 range. I don't really like a thick border. I think that looks like funky. I don't know. When you do drag in your border, you can also do like what we talked about before, and you can round your corners. Okay? Can't talk today. So let's round our corners as much as we want. kind of makes it that little weird, like mushy circle looking thing. I do like to round my corners sometimes, but I don't do it more than like I would say a 10. Just give it a little bit of a roundness to it. So from here, I just want to touch on one thing. So now we have our border up. We can go back to our shape, the color fill, and if we click on this gray square with the red line through it, it's going to get rid of the inside. And now we just have an outside border shape, which is really fun. So what I like to normally do with this is when I'm doing shapes like this, or maybe like a heart or something, I like to give it that just outlined feel. Another thing you can do is go to this open square color looking thing. I need to like come up with names for these instead of calling them looking thing, because that's like all I call these. So now we can go through the colors of the border. And you can bring back the color of the inside if you want, or you can get rid of it, whatever you want. So being on this left one is going to do your inside color. Being on this one with like the open square in the middle, that's going to give you your border color. Okay? Now, you probably see the font and the sizing and the color and all of this, and you're like, well, what is that for? I don't see any words. The way they did their update is when you have a shape, now if you click on the center, you can just type and you have a word. So you don't always have to put a word in the middle. You can do whatever you want. You can leave it totally blank and it's not going to have that cursor fill. But if you do want to add words to it, it's easy to just click on the middle and type something, and then you can change and play with your font and stuff up there. But I'm not going to do that. I actually like to put my own text on like its own like separate layer and then drag it on top if I'm putting it on a shape. But that's just me. So the next thing we're going to go through, we have graphics and stickers. Well, we have other stuff, but that's what I'm going to talk about. So the cool thing about elements, the graphics, when you're on here, you can change most of the colors that you see. So you can either search for colors. So I'm searching set names, as you can see, or you can type in something specific that you're looking for and try to find whatever you're looking for. And again, you can change most of the colors that you see. So let's say I like this and I want to put this on my border. I can come up here and change that color to my brand. And whenever you're looking at all of these graphics or fonts or whatever you're looking at, like I talked about before, there's a pro and a free. So when you hover over these little guys, if it has a crown, you'll know that it's a pro element. If it doesn't have a crown, it's free. So like this one is free. This one is pro because there's a crown. So that's just a little tidbit. So this guy that I'm working on right here, that is pro. Okay. So anything that you see on the screen, if you want to get rid of it, I literally just hit delete on my keypad. Sorry, I kind of went through that quickly. But you can, like if the element is highlighted, meaning the square is purple around it, you can hit delete or you can hit delete on your keyboard. Another quick little thing, since we're here, click on this little guy that says duplicate, and it duplicates the exact object so that you can have multiple on the screen if you're looking to do that. So that is kind of fun, being able to change the colors of the things that you see on your screen. So again, whatever you're looking for, you can change the colors. Like let's say you're trying to make a little business card and you want all of these features on there. Elements, you can change all of the colors. Everything you see, you can change the color. So the next thing is stickers. Stickers are just basically moving graphics. Canva's new thing that they've been doing is making the sticker colors editable. So not all of them are able to be edited, but some of them are. So like this one is not, because you could see up there if you saw the little colors to change. But like I know this one is. This one is. So like there's some that you can change the colors, some you can't. They're working on it. That's a newer feature. So I think in the future, maybe next year, there will be a lot more stickers that you can change the colors on. Like this one, you can change the colors. So yeah, so you can add little stickers to your page. And when you do add them, because they are moving graphics, it changes the way you would download it. So it would turn it into an MP4, which is a video download, versus regularly it would just be a PNG file that you would download if there's not a moving object on your screen. So they have gradients and stuff like that. I'm not really going to go too much into all of these. These are just showing you like the trending little graphics. So kind of come on here, type in little things that you would want to search for, and then see if you find graphics that you like to use. I honestly don't think there's ever been a time where I have typed in a word and not found something that I was interested in using. I do like gradient. I just wanted to show you. This is one of my favorite little elements to use because it kind of just gives your background something more to look at than just a solid color. So try to play around with gradient if you have time. You can change most of these colors so they kind of have like a little, let's see, different feel when you change the colors from just the basic one it comes with. One other little thing that I know people have asked me about, so I'm just going to go back really quick so I can show you what I'm talking about when I say it. So whenever I post my graphics that show like the little, the keywords, and of course I can't even find one right now. Okay, right here. So my keywords, I post these a lot, and I just wanted to tell you guys how to use these because you probably follow me and you probably see me post these all the time, and this might be a big question. So when you see me post things like this and you're like, okay, well, where do I find that? Like, is that showing that it's on Canva? What is it? These are all elements on Canva, and elements going back to what we talked about under here. So you can use all of these little elements in your graphics that you're making, and all you're gonna do is see this little set name up here. You just go in, you can like copy it. You normally find this on the internet, so you would screenshot it and just write down the words in your search bar, hit search, and you're gonna find all of those graphics that I shared. And that's fun. You know, it's fun to be able to like use the elements that you're seeing that you might be into. Yeah, so that's a fun little tool that you guys can use. Again, just take this little set name, you can copy and paste it into your search bar, and it's going to show you tons and tons of different graphics that are under that name. Okay, so the next thing under elements, you're going to have your photos, and these are like stock images that it comes with. Everything in here is free to use. You don't have to like pay extra for stock images, which is pretty cool. Some are free, some are pro. And again, you'll know by hovering over it if it says pro, but what I'm seeing right now is these are all free. So that's nice. And then in videos, again, there's pro and then there's free, but I think a lot of these are free, which is really nice. This one's pro, this one's free. Again, you can tell from that little crown in the corner. And adding any of these to your screen, you just click on what you like, and then you drag it from the corners to fill the screen. And then you can also drag not just from the corners, but you can drag from the sides with these little like knobs that you see, and it like finishes the fill. So now you have a photo on your screen. And same with videos. Click on the one you want, and you can either drag it to fill your screen, or you don't have to do that at all. Drag it to where you want it. And again, drag it down, boom. Now you have a full video fill on your background of your screen. But again, you do not have to fill up your whole screen. I'm just showing you that you can. The next thing is audio. I honestly have never used this, but if you are trying to maybe put together like, I don't know, a beginning intro, outro of a YouTube video or something, maybe you want some like nice little whimsical music playing in the background, you can come through here and see what they have. The next one is charts. I love charts. I love charts. So if you are someone that is a chart person, or you deal with a lot of numbers, maybe in real estate, or you just want to show like your growth for your business, something, come in here and you can use these charts. These are so cool. Look, click on any one of them and you can actually change the numbers so it's an accurate chart. It's not just like you're throwing a pie chart on there and like you have to kind of like make up the numbers as you go. No, this is like a real life chart. You go through here, you put in all your numbers. You can even upload a CSV file, and you can upload a Google spreadsheet as well. So that's kind of fun. Then you can go into the settings and kind of mess around if you don't want like your labels or the grids to show. You could play with the colors up here. You can change the spacing of the lines, and you can change like the roundness. See how it changes it from like a sharp square edge to a like circular round. And then if you did keep on the labels, you can play with the font, the size, the color, bold, italicize, all that. So that is one to play around with if you are someone that does deal with numbers. That is a very good tool to have. Can't talk. Okay, going back. Next we have tables. If you need tables for whatever reason, here is where you would find them. I've never used tables, but that's just me. Then you have your frames and your grids. The only thing that is different between the frames and the grids is going to be on grids, you have a place to put in multiple photos. So these are both frames for like putting in photos. You're going to see a bunch of different like outlines. Obviously this one's a good one to like put in a screenshot from your phone, or this one to put in a screenshot from your laptop. That's how people do this when you see like mock-ups and you're like, how did they do that? This is how. You come over here into frames and you can either search iMac frame, iPhone frame, computer frame. That's how you would find that. There's iPad, everything. So you can kind of scroll through here and see all the different frame types, and all you're going to do is literally, so you have it on there, and I'm going to go to my uploads and just show you an example. You take the photo, you drag and drop it into that like background that you saw. And if you want to edit where it like falls, so you like maybe don't want, her face fully cropped, double click it and you can drag it around until you find how you want it. And if you want to make it bigger, smaller, well, not smaller than the frame, but if you want to make it bigger, you just take the corners like before and you drag them. Okay. So now we have the frames, and I'll just show you the grids real quick. So it looks just like this. And again, same thing as a frame. You put in a picture, but on the grids, you would put in multiple pictures because you can see like the multiple grids. And then the last thing is these little collections. These are all the trendy elements that are going on right now, or maybe new ones that they think might be popular. So the next one is uploads. This is where you would upload like your photos or your videos, or if you have like a voice recording and you want to upload an audio, you can upload all of that into here. And the next one is text. So under text, you click on that purple box, and that's how you would get a text box on your screen. And down here, you're going to see a bunch of different like font sets, and most of them are all pro versions. But what these are is just like a combination of fonts to where they think you might want to use. Maybe maybe you're in a rush and you're like, I just want to like have this set and ready to go. I don't want to play around with where I'm laying my font out on the screen. So it gives you ideas like that. It also has like menu options. So like if you own maybe a restaurant or something and you want to put in a menu really quick and you don't feel like putting all these numbers and lining them up, and so you would use it like that. Okay, come on. But I don't honestly ever use the font combos, but you can if you want. It's helpful if you're just kind of in a rush and you want to get something and you like the style that they have. And then what you're seeing right here is my font branding. So on the home screen, this is a pro feature, but you're able to actually put in your own fonts and your own colors. And I'll just show you really quick. And it's under brand. You can put in your logos, you can put in your brand colors, and you can upload fonts. So these are the 3 fonts that I use the most. And over here is my uploaded fonts. This is a whole different level of Canva that you can see in another video. But you can upload fonts here, and you can upload your brand colors here, and you can have them in here to use whenever you are making your graphics. The brand colors makes it a lot easier, so you're not like trying to find your colors every time you're making a flyer or something. And then the uploading of fonts, obviously, who doesn't want to upload fonts that they find on the internet? So that's where you would do that. And both of those are very good features, and they're both pro features. So that's what you're seeing here is my brand kit. And yes, so if you have a pro version, you would be able to use that. So now going over to fonts. So up here, just like we talked about before, it's a Microsoft toolbar. So on here, what you're going to see is this one first is fonts. So if you click on that, you can go in and see hundreds and hundreds of fonts that they have to offer. The ones with the crowns, like we talked about before, are going to be paid, and the ones without the crowns are going to be free. Now, the ones that you saw up here that look like they're all free, these are actually all my uploaded ones that I found just on the internet and purchased or downloaded. So that's what those are. And then again, paid, free when you get down here. So honestly, I love their fonts that they have. They have a very huge collection, so you don't really need to pay for a lot of extra fonts when you are working with Canva. But I, as a graphic designer full-time, I like to go and find other fonts online, and you can easily upload them like we talked about in the branding kit or right here. But you can also come up here into the font search bar, and you can look up like, let's see, any font that you might, like a font style. So like we just had Halloween. Maybe I was making a graphic for Halloween and I wanted to find like a scary looking font. I can type in Halloween and see what it comes up with, like this Jeepers one. Or let's see, Christmas is coming up. So we can click on here, type in Christmas, and it comes up with anything that it might think would be like a Christmassy style font, which is fun because then it allows you to like not have to go and search and scroll to find a font. It kind of helps you if you're looking for something specific. You can type in like calligraphy, handwriting style, cursive, serif. You can look up anything, any style font, and it'll give you it'll give you quite a few options to go through. The next one over is your font size, which just makes it bigger, or you can come over here and drag at the corners. Then you have your color, just like we talked about before. The color palette, adding your color palette like on that main homepage. Or you can come up here and add a new color, drop in that hex code, or you can use the color picker to pick a color from maybe a photo you have on your screen. Not everyone has this color picker option. I know this is a newer feature. I know that when I'm using Canva for desktop, meaning the downloaded app on my computer, I get this color picker. But if I'm using Canva on my desktop in Safari, I don't have this color picker. So just an FYI, they really obviously encourage you to like download Canva on your computer so you can use all of the app's capabilities. And obviously right here, this hex code, this is a whole different animal. This is like level 2 Canva. But if you do know what a hex code is, it's just the color code from your branding or an image or whatever, and you can drop it in there so you can get like your branding over here. Or you can come up here and kind of play with the colors until you find a color that you like. And as you can see, these numbers are changing because I am in fact pulling up a bunch of different hex codes. So hex code is simply the number of the color, because we all know there's like a red that's like a cherry red, and then there's like a light red, and then there's a burgundy red and a maroon red. So, every one of those has a different color code, and that's a hex code. And it would go right here. So the next one over is bold, italicize, underline. For uploaded fonts, you can't normally use this. The bold and italicize, it's just kind of like graphic design 101 because they don't like, well, that's getting more into it, but with fonts, you can't, if it's uploaded from the internet, they either have to like give you the bold and italicize in the bundle, or it won't work with the regular font. But that's for another day. Underlined, if you click this, it makes everything capital. Unclick it, it makes it lowercase. And then alignment, left aligned, center aligned, right aligned. Then you have bullet points, numbers. Obviously, this font doesn't come with numbers, which sometimes when you upload it from the internet, they don't. That's just like a, I guess, thing you have to deal with when you're downloading something free from the internet. And then back to regular. And then right here, so spacing is fun. So what spacing is when you drag this, it's going to make your letters far apart or make them close together. Some fonts this looks good on, some fonts this looks horrible on. So just kind of make sure that when you're doing this, you're kind of like looking at this with an eye of like, does this look good? Because like most of the cursive ones, I could tell you, do not look good when you're spacing out the letters. So just be like mindful of that. And then you have the line spacing. So here, let me show you. Okay, so all I did was copy and paste on my keyboard, Command C and Command V. Command C is copy, Command V is paste, and then Command A is select all. But that goes for anything on your computer. So once I have lines, like I'm writing like multiple sentences or a paragraph, I can go to line spacing and I can use this to like make my lines farther apart or closer together. I like this. I like using this tool. This is a good tool to know. And then we're not going to go over anchor text. The next one is effects, and this one is fun to kind of give your text on the screen a little bit of like, I don't know, sparkle to it. So shadow is one that I use a lot. I don't ever touch offset or direction because all it's going to do is move the location of my shadow, and I just like where they normally have it. I would play around with blur, but not really too much because this one is kind of a blur. But I do play around with transparency because sometimes I like it full blown in the background, sometimes I don't. And then here, I would click to find my colors. And you can just play around with whatever color you want as your little background. The next one is lift, and this is just going to add that little like kind of shadowy blur behind your font. The next one is hollow, and it's going to hollow out your text. You can play around with the thickness or skinnier. I don't really touch that one. And then on splice, it's like that hollow, but with a fill behind it, and you can change the color right here, but I don't honestly ever use splice, but this is where you would play with the thickness, and I, again, don't like playing with offset and direction too much, but you can if you want. And then echo, this like gives you that look of like the multiple background, or what would you even call this? Oh, shadows, the multiple shadows. So it gives you like a 3-layer shadow. And then the next one we have is glitch. I don't really use this, but it gives you that neon glitch, like that. And then neon. I actually do like neon, but I can tell you one little hint. Neon only really looks good if you are doing like bright colors. It does not look good if you have like just dark, maybe wintry fall colors. It does not look good on that. So make sure when you're doing neon, you have like that bright, happy pink, yellow, orange, those kind of colors. And then this just plays with the intensity. And then you have the background, and this just kind of gives you a little background, which is nice because sometimes you want a background behind your words and you don't feel like going and messing around with like a shape behind it and like making the shape fit, and you're just like in a hurry, which everyone is. So this is a lot easier to kind of mess around with. The transparency just makes it so the background is more see-through or full coverage. The spread makes it so it's a bigger background or a skinnier one. And then the roundness plays with the roundness on the corners. So you can do it full round or the square style. And the last thing that we have is going to be the curve, but I'm going to get rid of this bottom line to show you. So the curve, this is a fun one. So you've seen a curve on graphics before. This is how you do it. You type in what you want to type and you hit curve. Here is where you would go to make the curve a full circle or a smiley face circle, like the backwards one. And you can just kind of drag it to where you want it to be curved at. And that's pretty much it on the curve. Okay. So we're not going to go over animation, but if you do want to know what it is, it basically just goes in, you can choose from here, and it'll make an animation on your screen, which will in turn turn your file into an MP4 like we talked about to make it a video. But I will go over that more in another tutorial. The next one is projects. This is going to show you everything that you're currently working on. And let's say you want to add something to your screen from another project. You can go in, select all, and scroll until you find something that you may want on your screen. And that's where you would find it. The next thing is styles. And this is one of my favorite tools, but I'm going to find a template so I can actually show you for real what it can do. So once you have your graphic done, let's say you made multiple graphics, or let's say maybe you're a social media manager. This is one of the most key tools, at least for me, when I have like different clients and I want to make multiple graphics, but in different colors. So I go up here and all I do is click on this one time, or as many times as I want. I click shuffle and it changes the full colors of what it is that I'm looking at. So depending on the client, depending on what you're making, you can come through here, click on it until you find the color combo that you want. And it's such an easy way to just go through and like just change up your graphic. And honestly, I would tell you that there's been times where like, I think I hate a graphic and then all I needed to do was come over here and play with the colors. It sometimes is just the colors and the fonts. So that's where that comes in. You can also, if you have Pro, have your branded fonts up here, and then it would change the fonts on the screen. So this section right here where it's your branded colors and your fonts, that is going to be a Pro version. Down here, so if you have a free one, it'll look like this. And so what these are like little Canva combos that they came up with of fonts and colors. So you can go through these color palettes if you want, hit see all, and they come up with color palettes for you because sometimes, I mean, hello, I do this at least 3 times a week where I'm like, oh, I don't know what colors to use. And I go in circles on the internet trying to get inspiration to figure out what colors I want to use on my graphic. This is where you would do that. And same with your font sets. Sometimes you're just like, bro, like this is a great graphic, but I cannot for the life of me figure out what is missing. You just come on here, mess around with the font combos, and I promise you it will change up your graphic in 2 seconds. So up here, font sets just changes the fonts. Color palettes just changes the colors in the graphic. Down here is a preset combo of fonts and colors. So any of these, whatever you're seeing right here is the colors. You can hit shuffle and kind of keep going through. And down here is going to be the font combo that they paired with the colors. Okay, and these are from the experts. So like they really know what they're doing when it comes to like the color combos with the fonts. They've done their research. This is $1 billion software. So I would trust them with coming up with cool different font combos with the colors. So these are cool. If you're stuck, come down here, mess around, and it might give you some kind of inspo, whether it's, oh my God, I love everything about this, but I hate this green, okay, well then come over and change the green. And then everything else looks good and you're like, wow, I now have my graphic. All I needed was one little mix up. The next one down is starred. So you're not gonna have starred unless you have starred an icon or an element, but I'm gonna show you what that is. So let's say you have a template that you were using up here and you're like, I love this little star. I wanna keep this for the future. All you're gonna do is click on the icon that you like, go up here to info, this little eye with the circle, and you're gonna hit star, and then it's magically gonna come over here and it's going to save under your starred. So what I normally keep over here are the ones that I use either the most or ones I plan on using in the future. And then I don't have to like go and search for them every time. So it's kind of nice to be able to keep them over here. Now, you're not going to be able to see Instagram or QR codes on yours. They're going to be hidden down here under apps. So I'll get there in 1 second, but right here is your logos. You may or may not have this up. If you haven't used Canva before, that's also not going to be showing. It'll be under like your files. But once you do use your logos, like one time, it's going to pop up over here and you can add in your logos. But again, logos, having them on here is a paid feature on Canva. So if you don't have a paid version, you go over here to uploads, you have your logos in here, and you just have to like scroll and scroll and search for your logos every time, which it's not the end of the world. It's just, at least for me, because I do this all day long, it's kind of like a hassle. And then lastly, we have apps, and on the apps, you're going to see everything that is third-party integrated with Canva. So you can go to the QR code, type in your URL, it's going to generate a QR code and place it right here on your screen. You have unlimited clicks, meaning like someone holds their phone up to that URL, that QR code, versus if you find like a free QR code on the internet, you normally have like maybe 15 clicks and then you have to pay for the QR code to still run. They don't do that. You like get this and this lasts forever, as far as I know. And I have a lot of them out there in the world right now. And again, as far as I know, that thing's still running, and that's that. So we have the background color. You can change that to whatever you want, put in your hex code, and you have the foreground color, and you can, again, mess around with that until you find a color you like. And then you can play with the margin, and that just makes this big and small. You're not seeing it change because I didn't add in our URL, but I will show you right now. So the margin changes like this. I kind of like to leave it around like a 2, just like a tiny little buffer of space. And then again, change the color to whatever you're looking for. You can put in your own hex code and change this color. So you can change everything. Cool. And then the other one I like in apps is the Draw Beta. This is getting a little bit more level 2, so I won't go too far into this. I will show you what it does, but I'm not going to completely go into it. But you can go and you can color whatever you want on the screen. And I like to make a lot of gradient backgrounds from this because I can just like color what I want, put in my own brand colors, and then from there, I can go in and make it gradient just by editing the image after, coming into the adjust and playing with the blur. And then it edits my gradient. Obviously it looks a little crazy because I have all this stuff in the background, but that would like make it a prettier backdrop than just like a plain background. And now you have a cute little gradient background. So that's what I use this draw for. It works really well if you have a trackpad, like a iMac, or a MacBook Pro, and it works the best with those. Excuse me. I'm also a big Apple person, so I'm always going to say go Apple. And then I would say the last thing in here, you can add in your YouTube videos. If you're like sharing maybe a presentation or a website, that would be cool to have it directly embedded in there. Click on YouTube. You can type in what you want. It's going to show you videos when it first pops up. But let's see. Let me see if let's see, Canva. Yeah, so these are all my videos. So if I wanted any of these embedded on my screen, I simply click it and it's going to pull over here and I can drag it bigger. But again, this is an embedded video, so it doesn't work if you download it as a PDF or PNG. This only works if you're downloading it as a like a link or a website. And then you could like be in a presentation and click it. It would play the video on your actual like design that we made. So that is pretty much it that I have for you for creating basic on Canva. These are all of the tools that I use. And whenever I'm done with a graphic, I always download it as a PNG. It says suggested, so there's not like, you can't like go and just do JPEG like auto-populated. It's always going to have PNG, so don't worry too much about it, but just make sure that when you are downloading an image, you want it to be PNG. And if you are downloading something, let's say like a logo or something, and you want that background to be nice and clear behind it, make sure you download it as a transparent background. So, So that is all I have for you. Please reach out with any questions you have in the future. And thank you for watching the basics of Canva Level 1. Have a good day.